Yeah, excellent. I'll just give the intro and then we'll start. Excellent. Okay, so how many people do we have? We have 11 all accounts, which means around 9 people. Okay, that is a very good figure, round figure. Okay, so I now last class, like, are there any questions, Abhi, like which you want answered? Because we can discuss. Like, don't discuss the questions which we gave to you in the quiz and all that.
But
But
what
like,
happens if I don't do assignment because I joined just yesterday? So
do the assignments later on, like maximum 20 minutes, I think it will take. We made the assignments that way. Like, if you know what you're doing, it'll maximum take 10 to 20 minutes. Take it. So
the problem is I don't know.
what do you mean you don't know? So wait, I'll just look at that.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you
I have
have
to
any
watch the
doubts
video,
regarding
but
the
recording का
assignments,
दिखता होगा, yes.
if you have any doubts regarding the assignments, just write down to the people in general. Most of them know how to do, and if they don't reply, you can just ping us or DM us.
Sure.
Okay. So I believe that means no questions and no like questions about like the concept and everything. I think we were fairly similar. Also, we were not able to send you the material tabhi because we were caught up with a technical issue, but we will be planning, but we will be sending like dono lectures ka material ek din mein abhi, like by today or like tomorrow maximum. Okay? So you'll be getting material for both the years so that you can refer to that when you solve the problems and all that. Also, you will also be getting a quiz at the end of this session. Joe, like, Google Forms, similar procedure, and the assignments. So, we have 12 people. Sushovan, hello. Right. So, I think that is about it. So the last thing we covered pehle was still data types and strings. Now, strings, I had already covered concatenation. How many of you can tell me what concatenation is? Jaldi answer the answer.
When it's like a string and the integer is like we give their place side by side, they're printed like something.
Yes. That is concatenation. So I went out of syllabus that way. I was not, like required to teach that way, but like that will be like one of the end, like last topics that Pritish will be covering today. So it's mostly mathematical operators, assignment operators. Assignment operators we already covered pehle, but then comparison and logical. So Pritish will also be using the program as online compiler. If you have any better online compilers that you can name, you can also forward the link to us and we will consider using that as well. We just Google search Marithe. Also, another thing which Pritish brought up to me earlier today was the fact that like and which Vaibhav brought up pehle was the fact that the way that we're using online compilers now, you will almost never be using an online compiler for JavaScript. Okay, because that is not why you use JavaScript. You use JavaScript mainly to make apps like data management software, business management software, then apps, websites, that kind of thing. So we will be teaching you how all of that works at the absolute end of the class, like at the absolute end of the summer camp. So आज के लिए I will not be taking your class. Pritish will be taking your class, and I think that is about it. Okay, are we ready, Pritish?
Yeah.
Okay, then.
So,
over to you.
yeah, so you all learned about integers and floats last class. You all know that integers and floats are data types that require that work with numbers. This is an integer. This is a float. Now, what we know about what we do with numbers generally is that we use them to calculate stuff, right? We like add stuff, we subtract, we multiply. That is usually what we do with them, right? We are and that you can also do in JavaScript using arithmetic operators, right? Arithmetic operators, the name might give it away, but it's basically addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Modulus is basically what happens. What is the remainder basically after division that is represented by modulus? So like for example, if you do 10 divided by 3, then you get a remainder of 1, right? Because and a quotient of 3, right? Now this remainder is what you get as output when you apply modulus, right? This is what you do with modulus. Now I'll be covering all the arithmetic operators in detail later on, but this was the general introduction to them. These are the increment and decrement operators I'll be covering later on today. Do you guys have any doubts regarding what I just taught? Okay, I'll be continuing then. Multiplication, right? For example, if we take in case of JavaScript, right? If we take the example of 9 into, if you want to multiply 9 to 9 in JavaScript, right? What are we going to do? Does anyone know? Does,
What? Repeat again.
if we are going to multiply variables A and B, then what are we going to write?
Asterisk, same A asterisk B.
Yeah. We are going let's say there is a variable C which stores the value of A being multiplied by B, right? In JavaScript, when we multiply two variables, we give this operator. This is called the asterisk for people who don't code, but in most programming languages, this asterisk represents multiplication, right? And if we console.log, people who have joined the meeting late, please write your names in the chat. Yeah. Now, if we console.log, we will get 9 into 9, which is 81, right? Now, other than now, this is all we need to know about multiplication currently, right? We can multiply numbers, we can multiply floats using this. We can basically multiply any numerical value to another numerical value using the asterisk as the multiplication operator, right? Now let's go back to division. About division, we use the backslash as the division operator right now in JavaScript, because in most programming languages it is the same and it represents division. So if there are two if there are two numbers, right, and you want to divide, let's say, number A by number B, then you will be writing A, then the backslash, and then B, right? Not the other way around, because let's say what will be A divided by B? Does anyone know what will be A divided by B in this case?
C.
No, like what will be the value?
Oh, okay.
Will it be less than 1 or will it be greater than 1?
Of course, it will be less than 1.
The answers are wrong, I think, in chat. Anyways,
Sorry to interrupt, but may I ask something?
yeah.
Actually, I just now joined because my class was going on. Can you please say what has been done till now?
Yeah, we have only covered multiplication. So will I repeat multiplication, or are you familiar with it already?
Okay.
So, are you familiar with JavaScript multiplication already, or should I?
Yeah.
Okay. So when we do A divided by B, right? In this case, we get the answer which is less than 1, which is what is supposed to happen, right? We are dividing a smaller number by a greater number, right? But if we do it the other way around, right, we will get a number which is greater than 1, as you can see. So the way you place your variables while dividing two integers is very important, right? You don't have to care about that in case of multiplication. you place it any way around, it works, right? It does not give different outputs. Okay. Does anyone have any question? Antara, what should be 0.9? A by B. Yes, it is 0.9. It is 0.9 as you can see. B by A is not 0.9 though. A by B is 0.9.
May I ask something here?
Yeah.
In the place of like console.log, here suppose we instead of C, suppose we directly write A plus B, will the value come
Yeah,
as like
it will
9?
work. It will work. But I would not recommend it because, for example, as Swapnil demonstrated in the last class, if you write anything other than the two numericals, right? If you write something like, if you do something like this, right? Then the thing is that in most cases it won't actually do anything with the numbers, right? It will just
Like we
print them one
can't
after.
add some variables or not variables, I will say means alphabets or letters, right?
You can add, what? Can you repeat your question?
Means we can't add something alphabets or not variable alphabets only means the value will show different, right?
Yes, I think I cannot understand your question. If you, what do you mean by alphabets? Why are you adding alphabets?
Oh, sorry. Suppose the answer is what is like kind of the words,
Acha,
and
the
we know
string.
that yeah, and we know that 9 plus 9.99 is a different answer, and the answer is coming on the output screen as 99.99. So
Yeah.
means like we can't add those or like add something alphabets over
You
there or
can add
words.
this. There's a trick to that, right? The trick is you have to place brackets, right? What does the bracket do? The bracket makes A plus B happen faster or earlier than the answer is like, see, what does, when you add brackets, right? The answer you will see will come right. This is because when you place brackets, right, in a console log or any kind of statement which prints the answer to the console, right? If you give brackets in those kinds of statements, right? First, the statement will execute A plus B, right? And then it will store the answer in the place of the brackets, right? So it will like take this answer, it would calculate A plus B, then it would take the answer and replace it with the bracket, like replace it with whatever is inside the bracket, and then it will print the output, right? So that is what you have to do. Was I clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So moving on to modulus. I think plus minus is self-explanatory. Plus minus will do this basically. Wait, yeah. Plus minus will just add it, right? You can arrange the variables any way you want. A plus B, B plus A does not really matter. Yeah, A plus B, B plus A does not really matter. Same goes for same does not go for subtraction actually. A minus B will give you in this case 0.9999 as we can see when we subtract because this is executing the statement like this, which is giving you 0.99 as the answer. But if we do it the other way around, right? If we apply 9, if we apply B minus A, the answer will come positive because B is greater than A in the above variables, right? And so you have to be careful about how you arrange the variables while subtracting and while dividing. But the same does not go for addition
Could you
or
please repeat
multiplication.
if
Yeah.
could you please repeat what will happen if we put A instead of B like? The
Acha,
value of A is
Acha, like for example, right? If you are given two variables, x and y, right? And x is greater than y, right? X is greater than y. Then if you want to have a positive value to your answer, if you want your answer to be positive, then you have to do x minus y,
Acha, okay.
right? But if you want your answer to be negative, then you can go ahead and do this.
That means we can get a negative value, right?
Yes, well, did I not demonstrate it? Wait, 1 second. And I am pretty sure, yeah, you can get a negative value as well, and you can get a positive value depending on how you arrange your integers. And if they are same or a is equal to b, then you will be getting 0. Right. Does anyone have any doubts so far? Anjishnu, what is 100 divided by 111? Sorry, I could not understand.
Okay, oh, that was like B by A when you did the
Acha,
division explanation.
acha.
Modulus shows the remainder, right? Like what is it?
Yeah, I'll be covering modulus right now. Modulus basically, what does modulus mean, right? Yeah, modulus basically refers to, let's say you have two numbers, right? You have 4 and you have 2, right? When you divide 4 by 2, do you get any remainders?
No.
You don't get any remainders, right? So what modular represents is the remainder. So you won't be getting any remainder, therefore the modulus will be 0, right?
Zero.
And when we do modulus, we represent, like when we are trying to find the remainder between two numbers, we represent it by the percentage sign, right? The percentage sign while calculating two variables does not mean percentage, it means modulus. Keep that in mind. If you write code and then if you write code to get like the percentage of two numbers, but you see the answer is not coming there, this is the reason why it's not coming. And modulus modulus again, like division and subtraction, depends on how you position it, because 2 mod 4 is not the same as 4 mod 2, right? This is because 2 mod 4 is the remainder when 2 is divided by 4, right? That is the remainder. But in case of 4 mod 2, the remainder works like 4 divided by 2. So they are both different, right? Let me continue. Right. So what I was going on earlier, let's see what happens if we change the positions of A and B, A being 6, B being 9, while calculating the modulus, right? Here we see that A mod B gives the answer 6, right? Now, if we change the positions of B and A, we will find the output to be different. This is because as I explained earlier, the remainder is different when you divide A by B and when you divide B by A. Does anyone have any questions so far?
Yeah, and the modulus part, like where you explained two modulus 4 is not equal to 4 modulus 2 at
Yeah.
that area.
Acha. So why both of them are not equal when you are modulus two variables with different values?
Yeah.
Acha, yeah. I'll be explaining that again. For example, right, what 4 divided by 2, what does the remainder give?
0.
Right.
The remainder will be 0.
Yep. So modulus will be 0. Right. Now 2 mod 4. Now 2 mod 4, as we know, is 2 divided by 4. Right. Do you all know that?
0.5. No, not
No,
0.5.
that is not the rate. That is not the modulus. Wait. The mod is 2, right? So here the mod is coming 2. Why is that? I just explained it. Anyone there who knows the answer? Anyone who
What?
anyone who can explain why 4 mod 2 is 0 and 2 mod 4 is 2?
Because 4 mod 2 is like 4 divided by 2. So 2 2s are 4, it comes like that. But if 2 mod 4, it's like we are dividing
think-
2
I
by
think
4.
because
So
when doing long division, when you are dividing 2 by 4, you have to multiply 4 with 0 to get the remainder as 2, right? So,
Yeah. So like the division
so
in
you
both
get the
cases is,
remainder as modulus 2.
yeah. So the division in both cases is different, right? That's why the modulus is different. Okay, so I'll be moving on. Is it clear now, Vaibhav, or whoever was asking?
Yes, it's clear now.
It's clear now, right? I'll be moving on. Acha, I'll be teaching increment, decrement later on. Right, now assignment operators. Acha, let's say you have two variables, one being 5, another one being 10, right? Now what you want to do, right, is that you want, since we know that variable values can be changed throughout the course of the JavaScript program, we can change the value of a from 5 to something else, right? So in this case, let's say I want to change the value of a from 5 to a plus whatever is the value of b, right? So what will I write, right? I'll write a is equal to a plus b, right?
So here in this statement, we are changing the value of a.
Yeah, we are changing the value of a.
Means this can be done like we are using the same variable, like
Yeah,
a equal to a plus
yeah,
a.
in JavaScript, you can change the values of a variable which is defined by var, right? Any variable that is defined by var, you can change the values or later on in the program, right? So now we have a is equal to a plus b, right? The answer will be 15, right? But now if we see, now we see that b won't change here, right? If I do this, we'll see that b is the same
Okay,
10.
one more thing.
Yeah.
Here, like uh, for the second one, like a equals to a plus b, we are not like writing the var a equals to a plus
No,
b.
var, you only write var when you are declaring a variable, right? Let's say var,
Okay, okay.
yeah, like whenever you write var, that means you are using or you are like mentioning the variable for the first time in the program, right? After you have mentioned it once, you need not write it again. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on, we know that A's value is getting incremented or increased to the value of A previously plus the value of B, right? So we are getting 15 as an answer. Now, this is quite lengthy, right? And doing it multiple times will take quite a lot of time. So what JavaScript allows you to do is do all of that within the span of two characters, right? Just a plus and then a equal to, right? This is one of the assignment operators, and this is used to assign the value of a to the value of b, incrementing the value of a. So what it basically does is, right, wait, right. So this is what this basically does. Now, if I run it, I should get the same answer, yes. And this is basically a short form, right? You can use this, and this won't give you a wrong answer and anything, but to make writing our programs faster, it is generally recommended that you use these assignment operators, right? And similarly, you can do the same thing with subtraction, right? You'll be getting -5, yeah. So in this case, wait, I'll be changing the value. Yeah. So in this case, we know that the value of a, which is 10, right, is getting subtracted by the value of b, which is 5. And now the new value of a, right, the value of a is getting changed from being what it was previously, which is 10, to what it was previously -5, right? And all of that is being done with the use of two characters, minus and equal to, right? And this is basically another assignment operator, and this is used to decrease the lengthiness of your code. You can do the same thing with many other things. You can multiply, you can divide, you can apply modulus. I'll be going over them briefly, but they are self-explanatory, so I won't be covering them in depth. Yeah, it will just multiply, and the value of the second one won't change. This basically also, in case of division and subtraction, the placement of a and b again make the answers different. So in case of a minus, so in case of a divided by in case of a divided by b, the answer, whatever it's coming, will be different if I write b divided by a as division, and just no, Gaurav, the first assignment I don't think has been uploaded. Yeah, I think most of them will be uploaded after the class. Yes, so moving on. These were the assignment operators. Does anyone have any doubt? If you want me to go over like modulus equal to and all that in detail, I can go through that, but you will need to speak up.
What is the difference between the modulus and the divide sign?
Acha, yeah. So like what does divide do? Divide basically divides the two numbers, right? It performs the division and it neglects the remainder, right? So in
Like
case,
one tells us the quotient and one the remainder. Like modulus tells us the remainder.
yes, yes. Modulus gives us a remainder and the division gives us a quotient. Also keep in mind, if you are dividing by something which is not perfectly divisible, you won't be getting any remainder. Instead, you will be getting decimals. And if you don't want decimals, we will be using local, wait. If you don't want decimals, then I'll be covering that in the next class. Does anyone have any other doubt from this section? of assignment operators.
I don't think so.
No.
Most of
No.
most of these are self-explanatory, so I did not go in depth. Does anyone want me to go in depth? Okay, so I'll be moving to decrement. Right. Now, before all these, the basic understanding of increment and decrement is that it increases or decreases the value of whatever is there previously by 1 or decreases it by 1, right? So in case of 10, right, if we print a plus plus, what it should do is it should increase the or increment the value of a by 1. So this is basically the short form of writing a plus equal to 1 or a is equal to a plus 1. Right. This is what a
Also
plus plus.
used to use this in CPP, right?
Yes, this is also there in CPP, but this is not there in Python, I think. In Python, you still have to use these to calculate bad language. Yeah, so wait,
Why is
uh,
it still coming 10?
wait. Okay, then.
Okay, okay.
Acha, yeah. Yeah, so what I forgot to do was I forgot to assign the value of a plus plus to another variable and went on printing it, which you should not do unless it's a pre-increment, but I'll be teaching that later on. So now it should now it should print 11. Wait, what?
In that console dot log also it will be a plus plus or like only b.
No. You will be assigning to whatever you assigned it to previously, but uh,
No, like I am getting 11 like when I am doing a plus plus. I don't know.
uh, I am not actually quite sure why is that. Uh, okay, wait. I'll just be running it locally to see if it's not a uh, online compiler thing. Wait a second. Oh yes, I'm just running it and I'll be getting back. Acha, wait.
I'm also running that and getting us 10.
Acha, I think I might have messed up the.
No, like
Yeah,
when
I
I'm
did.
putting b it's coming 10, but when I'm putting a plus plus in console dot log then
Yeah,
it's
I
coming 11.
actually messed up the names once again. I'm really sorry. I messed up the naming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be starting the screen share shortly. Yeah, is my screen visible once again?
Yes.
Yeah. So actually, I did some wrong naming and stuff.
No, shouldn't the plus sign before B or after B?
Acha, yeah. So if you are doing it before P, then it's a pre-increment, right? I'll be getting onto that once I find out why it's not working. Wait. Oh, I messed it up, I think, again. Acha, yes. I'm really sorry. I'm messing up the variable names again. Yeah. So pre-increment, what is like this is increment, right? And what if you want to decrement, you'll just be writing this, right? So it's basically just decreasing the value of p.
Like, why did you put first like A is equal to 0, then B is equal to 10, and after that?
I'm just declaring a beforehand, before I'm not directly giving any values to b, because it's safer to do it that way, and I was not sure why it was not running earlier. That's why.
So, like, we will also have to write first of all assign a value of A is equal to 0.
Or you can write whatever value of a. You can basically write it, let's say 3, but it will get changed later on, so it really does not matter. It will basically be assigning the value of a to whatever is b minus 1, right? So it does not matter whatever the value of a was earlier. It's completely changing the value of a, right? So I think I'll be continuing. Does anyone have any questions with assignment operators? Does anyone have any questions with assignment operators?
No.
No.
Right. So then I'll be moving on to post increment and pre-increment. What do those mean, right? So let's go through the examples here. Can you all see the screen? Can you read what's written here, the text?
Yes.
Yep. Yes.
Right. So what's a post increment? A post increment is basically whatever I did here, right? In the post
Can you
increment,
show that? Yeah. Okay.
yeah, in a post increment, right? If there are two variables and you make the value of the first variable to the second variable plus 1, then what happens? Only the second variable is updated. The first variable remains the previous value of b, right? Previous value of b being 10, right? And b becomes whatever it was plus 1. Did you all understand?
Like, no, I think.
Yes.
Acha. Wait, I'll be showing another example. Yeah. So look at this, right? What is the value of a earlier on?
0.
It's 0, right?
0.
And what's the value of b? It's 10. Now,
Yes.
if we write a is equal to b decrement, right? Then what happens is that the value of b, whatever it was earlier, gets decremented by 1, and it's then assigned back to b. So what is happening here is a is getting the value of 10. First a is becoming b, right? This is the first step that's happening here. Then after that, what they are doing is basically they are taking b and are subtracting 1 from it, right? Therefore updating both the values of a and the value of b. Did you all
The
understand?
value of A will be 10 and the value of B will be 9. Like,
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
uh can you all understand why it's happening?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. If you all have any doubts, by the way, you can write in the chat. I'm looking at the chat. Now this is a post increment, right? So what it's doing is it's basically giving the value of b to the value of a, and then it's changing the value of b, and this is called a post increment. Now
In pre-increment, like it will first decrease the value.
no, it's a pre-increment. It will first increase it will first
Yeah, like
increase the
first like
value, right?
increase the value, then they will
Yeah.
assign the value.
Basically the difference, wait, I'll be giving you the difference, right? So the answer is coming 9 and 10 in this case, right? Let's take the case of incrementation. Yeah.
In this case, the first value assigned to the variable will not matter, right?
No, in both the cases the first value
Suppose
won't.
it was only 10 also, means 10 a equals to 10, then also the answer will come as 9 or something.
Yes.
If it was something.
Yeah, because
Okay.
the value of a is getting completely overwritten, so it's not storing the value of a anymore. So even if it's like, let's say 9 or
It's like in the
something.
second case, we are changing the value. So it will not affect, means it will not take the first one, right?
No, it won't take in the first one. I am just giving, people give 0 or you can give whatever you want, but it's going to be changed later on, so don't worry about it. In pre-increment, right? As you can see from the examples, in pre-increment, what it's doing is, if you do pre-increment, the result is coming such that the first value or the value of a, which was previously 0, is now the value of previous b plus 1. Can you all understand?
Yeah, so first it increased the value of b, then it assigned the value of b
B,
to
yeah. First, it increased the value of b and then assigned it to a, and the value of b keeps whatever it was after incrementation. So basically, the difference I'll be showing you. Wait.
The answer will be same, like both of them will be same.
No, the answer
Anyway,
won't
right?
be same. The answer won't be same from what it was in post increment, right? This is because the
No,
value of
not post increment, like a and b, the like
yeah,
value
yeah,
will be
yeah,
sorry,
yeah, yeah.
not the answer, the value.
In this case, the answer is really same. What it's doing here is, right, the first step that's happening here right now is first is taking b and then doing b plus 1, right, and then it's assigning the value of whatever is b later, right, whatever is b after b plus 1 to a. Right.
Could you explain this part again? Like a
Yeah,
equals to plus plus b.
yeah. Okay, so let me just write it down. Okay, so I'll be explaining it with practical application in mind. So let's say in case of A is equal to B plus plus, right? What's going to happen? What's going to happen is that A is going to be given the value of B, and then the value of B is going to be changed to whatever it was earlier plus 1. The difference when you do A is equal to A plus plus B is that now for first it's taking the value of b instead of taking the value of a, right? First it's taking the value of b and then incrementing it to like whatever it was before plus 1, right? So if b is 10 in this case, first what's happening is that B is becoming 11, right? And after that, A is being assigned the value of B, which is 11. So if
No,
we have
here,
that,
what do you mean by 1 after A? Like,
oh
here
no,
is the
one,
value.
oh no, like, oh yeah. Now is it clear? Like, see, this is
Okay,
the
okay.
this is the first step, right? The first step is that B is getting this, and the second step is basically this. This is basically the second step which is happening. Could you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the first step which is happening, and then this is the second step. Therefore, the difference between this is that it in the first case, A is getting assigned the later value of B, and B is the A is getting assigned the previous value of B, and B's value is changing, versus A is getting assigned the newer value of B, while the value of B is still new and is not the same as before, right? So this I'll be doing the same thing with decrementation. The decrementation basically decreases it by 1. So yeah, it's doing the same thing, but instead of adding 1, it's decreasing 1. So now you are getting both answers as 9. Right, does anyone have any doubt here? You can type.
No.
Aditya Jaiswal, is your doubt cleared, or do I have to explain it again? It is clear, okay. If after the class, if you all find any doubt while doing the quizzes and all, you can write in JavaScript General or DMs. The DMs and the JavaScript General are all free. You can just type whatever doubt you have.
Hey, like I have sent you one code. Like, if you could just tell me if it is right or wrong.
Who are you? What's your name?
Webhook.
Vaibhav, you did not send me a code, I think. Achana, you have sent it.
Like, is it right or wrong?
Is less than equal to. Yes, the code seems right. Why? But this is not really. Yes, incrementation is used in for loops for sure, but we are.
Trying for it.
Huh?
I was just trying for it.
Huh? But we are not covering for loops right now. So I'll. If you have any doubt here, I'll be covering it in the next classes.
Yeah, no, it's like I don't have any doubt.
Yeah. So now we'll be going to comparison operators. Comparison operators is basically what we use to say if a statement is right or wrong, right? If a statement outputs something which it should output, or which is ideal, or if it is not, right? Let's say, you have A is equal to 9 and B is equal to 10, right? Now, does anyone have any doubt that A is not equal to B? Does anyone feel any different? A is not equal to B, right?
Like, they both are different.
Yeah.
Yeah, they both are very different numbers. They don't have the same value, right? Now,
Yes.
if I write this, right, this double equal to sign just stands for comparison. So it compares both the values of A and the values of B, right? And whatever and then it displays the output as true or false, right? True being if A is equal to B, false being when A is not equal to B, right?
It will show false.
It will show false, right?
Bool.
Now, it's a boolean, and since I have made A 10 now, it's showing true because A is equal to B, and that is what it should output. Now, does anyone have any doubt here? Like in it also works for strings, as far as I remember. This should also work. Yeah, it will work for strings as well. Yeah.
String, so like it even space will matter for string.
In strings, everything matters. Every space, character, letter, number, whatever you give within those quotation marks is taken as a character, and therefore, if any character is different in A and B, it will print false. Right.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now, this is the equal to operator, right? Just checks the values, right? Now, it does not check whether the types of the values are the same, right? So if, let's say, okay, I'll give it this way. Now, if I run the program here, what do you expect the output to be? Write in the chat or
Should be false.
huh?
Should be false. I think.
Why am I getting only one answer? Right, right. So two
False because
people,
one is string and one is that integer. So
yeah. But that's not going to happen because in this case, it's only taking the values, right? It's what it like if I write 10 and if I write 10 as a string, right? Do you think like the numerical value of 10 is any different?
no.
It's 10 remains 10. 10 does not become 100, right? Thus, if you just give double equal to it, just like compares on the basis of those values, right? It does not check if this is a string or this is a number, right? It does not check that. It just gives true or false, seeing as the values, right? It does not check the type of the value that is given by the user. So what do you do in these kinds of situation when you want to find out if like they have different values and both the values like they have the same values and both the variables are of the same type, right? So if both of them are boolean, then boolean. If both of them are numbers, then numbers. If both of them are strings, then strings. You apply a third equal to, right? This is this what this does is it first checks if A has a value, right? So if A is 10 and B is, let's say, a string 10, then it first checks if 10 is equal to 10, right? Which comes true, right? But then it checks if A is a string or a number, and then if B is a string or a number, but it gets that A is a string and B is a number. Right, thus making them not the same.
A is a number and B is a string, I think.
Right. Yeah. That is dry cells. But yeah. So basically, if you give a third equal to, it checks also for the typing of the variable, not just the values. If you give only double equal to's, then it will just check the values, which in some cases will remain true. Will remain true even if the values are different, like in forms of let's say boolean or string, that kind of thing. Wait. Now, in case of this, it's not giving the value of what to say of A is equal to B because booleans are stored differently than numbers and string, right? Booleans can also be interpreted as a bit differently as zeros and
So it
ones.
will only work for numbers, like if
Yes,
numbers are
numbers
in
and
string and in
strings.
integer form.
Yeah. If
Okay.
you want to differentiate, that's how you do it. Continuing on. Yeah, we have all these operators. I have equal to, I have just done it. Identical, equal, and same. This also I did. Right.
Could you explain me this one, identical one?
This one.
Like
Acha.
kind of same type, that one thing.
Acha, same. Acha. Yeah. If you are checking if you are checking in statements where you know that the types of the variables are the same, where you are sure 100% sure that the types of both the variables are not different, then you can use the double equal to, because it only checks for the values, right? And it will give false as expected. But now, if you don't know that both of the values are same, if you don't know if the types of the values are also same, right? If you just know that there are two variables, one of them may be integer or string, another one may be integer or string, you just want to check, you can just run it this way. It will give a false out. It will give a false output. But if you run it with the identical operator, that will first check if the outputs are same, and then it checks if the type is the same, right? And if the types are the same and the values are different, right, it still produces false. If both the types of the variables are the same but their values differ, then it still produces false, which is the same as equal to. Is it clear, or do I need to?
Yes, it's
Aditya,
clear.
Aditya Jaiswal type of. Yeah, type up was not working here earlier. I don't know why, but yesterday it was not working. Let's see if it works today. Acha, it is working today. Okay, clear. Yeah, you can check with type of, right? You can check with type of lit. You can like do this, right? You can kind of. You can do this, but this is like very much lengthier, right? And what it really does is that it makes your output more complicated, right? Did you understand, Aditya Jaiswal? It's much better if you just write
I
three.
also didn't understand this type of part.
Acha, yesterday, if I'm not wrong, Swapnil explained type of, but he did not get it to work.
Yesterday
Uh,
we had a class.
Not yesterday, the last
Yesterday,
class.
the day before yesterday.
Oh,
was
I was
Thursday.
okay.
Acha, were you present in the class day before?
No, I was unable to join the class.
Okay, then follow up the online lecture which is posted on YouTube. And then if you have any doubt, then you can ask us.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
right. Now, as you know, greater
So
than,
like one thing.
huh,
So can you show that screen? Yeah. So at first it is showing the value, like then it's true. Then the next
huh,
one is the type, like if it is an
the
integer or a
typing,
string,
yes.
that is false. Like
Yeah,
it is doing the work of like that triple is
it
equal
is
to.
doing the same work that this does.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Huh. Now, uh, yes. Now let's go on to the next part. Let's say greater than. I am pretty sure you people know greater than and smaller than. This is A is greater than B. It should produce false because they are both of different types. If I do this, then also it should produce false because A is less than B. But if I write B is greater than A, then it works again. This is self-explanatory, so I don't think I will be going in detail, but if anyone has any doubt, they can ask. Does anyone have any doubts regarding greater than?
No.
Same goes for less than. Less than is basically how it works in maths. If the values are greater on both the sides, sorry, if a value is greater on one side and the value is smaller on the other side, and if the smaller, like if the opening is towards the greater value, then it prints true, and if the closing is towards the smaller value, then it prints true. But if the opening is towards the smaller value and the closing is towards the bigger value, then it prints false, the same as it does in maths, right? Now let's move on to now let's move on to getting equal to's, right? Now what will this print? Does anyone know? Can anyone give me an answer?
It will be false because in normal mathematics we
It's
take that
true. It should be true now. So it is
greater
if
than
A
or
is
equal
less
to,
than or is equal to B. It's like that, I guess.
yeah, it's less than or equal to b, that.
Yes.
Okay.
It's true,
So
yeah.
it's true, and I'll be explaining why. What what this thing represents basically is if A is less than B, or right, A is equal to B. This is
Then
what it represents, right? Why it represents that I don't know, but this is what it represents. And you give this when you're unsure how much A can extend, or if you want A to extend only to the value of B, right? Not greater than B. You don't want A to be greater than B, or if you are checking if A is greater than B by any means, then you assign this, right? Now the same goes for greater than equal to. Yeah, this basically stands for is a, yeah, am I clear?
yes.
So it's basically checking two conditions at the same time, and if any one of them is true, so either of them is true, then it prints true. But if
And
either,
is it like that we have to use this operator like first the greater than sign, then the is equal to sign, or like we can use it like first is equal to then greater than sign. Yeah, like that.
it gives an
Okay, so
error
it
because,
was
yes, because it first checks if the sign, because these signs are like hard coded into the language, you can't really put your own version of the sign here, right? So
yes.
whatever, yes, so whatever is there, you can't really change it. Now, uh, I'll be teaching you what this exclamation mark equal to means in JavaScript, right? You can have a general idea that in JavaScript and in most languages, I think, this exclamation mark represents a negative affirmation. Sorry, a negative, like it basically represents false, kind of, or not, for a better word. It represents not. Okay. So what does not mean? In the sense of JavaScript, not can, you can use this sign like when you are comparing to variables, right? And you want to say, if you want to find out if one is not equal to the other, right? Let's say here A and B are not equal. So I want to find out if A and B are not equal and I don't know the values of A and B. Then I'll be putting this operator. This basically represents not equal to. 2. And it can give output in two forms, which is true or false, right? So if let's say A is not equal to B, then it will give true. But if A is equal to B, right, then it will print false. Say A is not equal to B, so it's printing true. But if I make this 10, it will print false. Right. So does anyone have a doubt here? Yeah. Do you have any doubts?
No.
Right. So I'll
Just
be
may
moving.
I ask something?
Yeah, you can ask.
How much time will this class extend till?
I will be ending it shortly, I think, in 15 more minutes.
Okay, no problem.
Right. Do you have any problem? If you have such problems, you can leave the class and we'll be uploading the YouTube video, so you can follow up from there. But if you don't have any problems, I would recommend staying in the class to boost attendance, right? All the people who I don't think I'll be able to take attendance right now. So all the people who actually joined the class, right? From what those who are from WhatsApp, just private message me that you were present in this class, and all those from Discord again DM me that you were present in this class, stating your name and section.
What's the WhatsApp number in the group? Could you just please tell?
Yeah, I'll be pinging. I'll be just confirming my number after this class. You can find a message confirming my number after this class in the group.
Okay, no problem.
Right. Now let's go to the logical operators. Right. This I'll be going over and or, right. What do these mean? Let's say or DM me, guys, right? Don't write it in general or something. So people will just copy you all and act of being present. Just DM me. Yeah, so continuing. Right. How do you use the and operator? What the and operator first does, let me explain. It checks if both the statements, right? You put two statements and you put the and operator in between them. What it does is basically it checks if both of them are true, right? If not, then it will print false. So if I run this, it should print true, because firstly we are checking if A is equal to B, which it is, and then we are again checking if A is equal to B or if A is less than B. So we know that both of them are true here, so it's printing true, right?
May I ask one more thing here?
Yeah.
Here we are getting both the values of as true, so the output is also true. Suppose we get one false and the other true, or like first the true and the other false, then will the answer
Yes.
come in the same sequence?
See, if either one of them is wrong, like if the first statement is wrong or the second statement is wrong, it will be printing false. If both of them are wrong, it will still be printing false, right? So what
Means
it
only till only till we get both the truths, the answer will be true. Either
Yes.
false or the other.
See, either one being false makes the output false. If both are true, only then it will become true, right? If both of them are false, then it's false as it is. Is it clear?
Like, what's the meaning of this operator, this and?
It basically means and, like, like if I translate like this from machine, like from JavaScript to, like if I'm speaking with someone else, it will be right. It would basically translate to this. Is A equal to B? Is it? Yes, it is. And then it's checking and A is less than B, right? You're checking for both of them at the same time. And if both of them are true, then it's true. And if both of them are false, then it's false. Is it clear? Now, what do you do if you want to find out if either one of them is right? If you want to find out if either one of them is true and if the other one is false, what do you do then? You use the OR operator, right? What the OR operator does is it prints true, right? It prints true whenever either one of the statement is true, right? Or both the statements are true. If both the statements are true, then it prints true. If one of the statements are true, then also it prints true. But if both of them are false, then it will print false. Did you all get this part? Does anyone have any questions?
Exclamation is equal to means like it is not equal to.
It is not equal to.
Okay.
Right.
Could you show the syntax part?
How to use the syntax? Yes. So, like I'll be going through the syntax here. Yeah. Also, there's syntax. Very good. Basically, the syntax is you write parameter one or like you like statement one, right? If statement one is true, statement one can have two values, right? Two output values, true or false, right? And then you give and the and sign, right? And then you write statement two, right? And statement two also has two values, right? And in case of and, if both of them are true, right? If this goes as true and this is also true, right? Then you will be getting a true overall. If any one of them is false, then the output becomes false. And if both of them are false, then also the output is false, right? And this is basically the syntax. This is how you use the syntax. And in case of OR, let's say the first one is true and the second one is false, right? Then in case of OR, you get the output as true as it checks if either one of them is true, right? And here it's finding that the first statement is true, so it's giving the output as true, right? Now, if in OR you give both of the statements as true, it still prints out the output as true because it is now checking if either one is true and it's finding out that there is at least one parameter that is true. Therefore, it's printing true. But if both of them are false, then the output remains false. Does anyone have any question here? Does anyone have any questions? Write in chat or speak up.
No.
Right. So I'll be moving on. Right. Wait a second. Um, yeah, I'll be starting the screen sharing soon. Wait. Yeah. Yeah, I think is my screen visible once again? Yeah. So what I was doing was, right. So what is the use of this operator, because none of the operators specify which one. Right. Aditya Jaiswal. Regarding your questions, or is basically, let's see, you use and, right? When you are checking if both of the conditions are true, right? Let's say you have something like there are two values of a variable, right? A has the value 10 in strings, right? And B has, let's say, the value 10 in numbers, right? Now you are checking, right? Firstly, you can check what are the things you can check, right? You are checking if the values are same, right? And let's say the values are same in this case, right? The values are same, but you are trying to now check the type of, right? Now type of A is not equal to the type of B, as we all know, right? The type of A is not equal to the type of B, therefore the second condition is false. But if you use and, right, you are not being notified if any one of the conditions is false, right? For all you know, both of them can be false. You do not know if either one is false or both of them is false, right? In case of and. But if you use or, you will be notified if one of them is true or both of them is true, right? So or works in case of two two situations, right? And only works if both of the values are same, right? So and has a more streamlined use, whereas you can use or in place of and as well if you only want to check if both the outputs are same or any one of the outputs is same, right? Right, right. Understood. Yeah, so this is what we call a conditional operator. This basically is an if statement, right? This is basically an if statement, but written in a long way. So what it does, this is basically the syntax as well for all those people who want to know the syntax. You create a variable, right? Or you just directly console log, it does not matter. But basically, you check if a statement is true or false, right? If a statement is true, then it prints the first value. And if a statement is false, it prints the second value, right? For example, let's say 9. Does anyone know what this will print? Can
False.
anyone guess?
False.
Right. What about the other people? Can anyone guess? I have a yes, Gaurav, you can leave from 9:30. Uh, right, right. Everyone is right in the chat, and the reason is that it's checking if A is equal to B, right? If A is not equal to B, then it's skipping the first value and directly assigning C the second value, right? So it's basically like if the value of A, or like let me write it in a wider sense, if the statement is true, then the first
We can change it to like it's like we can write it it's same or it's not same
yes, you can write.
instead of true false.
Yeah, you can basically give any string.
It's like more easy to understand. So like when we will write, we have to write the true statement first. Like A is equal to B first, then we have to write if A is not
Yes,
equal to B.
that is a necessity. Yes. Yeah, the truth, like, let's say, if you want to write the false statement first, then you have to change the statement a little bit, right? Then you have to make the statement like this. If you want the first one to be your, if you want the false thing to be your first, the first part of both of the outputs, but if you want it, if you want the first one to be the true output while this being equal, then you have to keep it like this.
Oh yes, okay.
Is this clear? Is this clear? Does anyone have any doubts? Please speak up or write in the chat. No doubt, right? Anyone else? If you don't have any doubts, please write that in the chat. I'm not getting any responses right now. If you are feeling confused or not being able to catch up to the class, you can write your doubts in the chat. None, no doubts. Okay.
Like sorry to ask, but is this like end of the class?
I'll be going over just one more topic, I think, which is string operators. It will not be taking that long. Actually, he explained string operators the last class, right? I will just be doing this one thing. I will be teaching you how to slice a string and how to split a string. So it won't take that long, I think. Right. Now, this is a whole string, right? What if I want to take the string and I want to take a part of the string, right? Let's say I want to take just this is a. I don't want to take goof day as a part of the string, right? What do I do? Does anyone have any idea?
About what?
If we just want to print, let's say this is a and not a, this is a goof day. If you want to just print this part, what will we do? Right, I think I should explain. There's a method, right? Now these like what is I think I have to explain a method. A method is basically anything that is acting on a variable to give a desired output, right? Any what you can basically understand is by a method is like any variable which has been assigned a value dot if you do something, let's say slice, which I'm currently doing right now. This dot slice, right? This is a method. This is called a method because it acts upon the variable to give a desired output, right? It does something to the variable or to give a desired output, basically, right? Now, I'll be explaining what this means shortly. Wait, yeah. So basically, what I've
Like
written,
it is of words. Like there
huh?
are 5 words.
No, no,
Like
like
the number of
not
words.
words exactly. This is by characters. By characters, I mean, let's say spaces. Like one space is considered a character. A, B, C, D, all of them are characters. Special symbols like and, this, these are all characters. And underscores, plus, minus, these are all characters, right? Now 0 and 5, acha, in a string, right? A string is a string never starts from the first or the a string never starts from the first alphabet, right? A string always starts from the 0th alphabet, right? So like the first alphabet of a string is often called the 0th one. What do I mean by this? Let's say there's a string this, right? What do you think will be the, what if I number this, right? If I number, what numbering will this t get in the string?
1.
1, 0.
0, exactly.
It will be 0, 1, 2, 3. One,
Yes,
two.
it always starts from 0 in cases of strings, right? The first letter or character of the string is the 0th character, right? It's not the first character. It's not like the 9th, 10th character. It's a 0th character, right? And this, I think you have to remember. If you mess this up and or if you forget it, this might cause problems in your future programs. So you should remember this. Now, what I mean by dot slice 0 to 6 is that it takes the 0th character and then it counts 6 times, right? It like counts till 6 basically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. Now if I run this, I'm getting the output till I, right? Because as we saw, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. We are getting
So
till
the inverted commas will be the for 0th character, like we are printing a string.
no. A string, basically the inverted commas are just there to show that whatever is inside the inverted commas is a string, right? They are not considered in the string. If you
Acha,
know
correct.
what,
There's a space before T.
there is no space before t. Like the string starts from t. There is nothing now. If I give a space before t, now there is a space before t. But if I remove this space, there is nothing before t.
Then shouldn't we take like T as the 0th one?
T is the 0th one,
Oh, okay.
right? So what did, like, let's explain this better. Oh, wait. Right. Now, if when you are slicing a string from 0 to 6, it means that it's slicing from
0 to
0
5.
all the way. No, yeah, exactly, 0 to 5. This is because, as I said, when you are slicing a string from 0 to 6, it cuts the string just before 6. So if you do like 10, right, it will cut it at 9. So it will cut it just before G. So let's do 11 so that we can show the G. Yeah. If I run this, it will print till G. Right. I know this is a bit confusing for beginners, but this is just how the language works. So you will have to adapt to this. But basically, when you are slicing strings, you start from 0 and end all the way before the ending number. Like whatever is the ending number, let's say the ending number is 10. Then you will be finishing in the ninth character, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right. So this space
Like
is
the gap before G.
Yes, exactly. So it won't print G. Is it clear? If anyone has any doubt, please write it in the chat. I know this is a very confusing part, but does anyone have any doubts?
So the
No.
syntax will be like
Acha,
the
yes. So,
variable full stop then slice.
yeah, no spaces, right? You don't give spaces.
Okay.
Okay. No one has any doubts. Okay, this is surprising. Good, I think. Like I know a lot of people will leave early, so if you all have any doubts or anything, you can just convey it to us in the next class. We'll explain it then. So today I'll be moving to the last topic, which is split. Split again is another method that you do while working with strings and all, right? What does split do? Let me show you. Let's say, right now, what split basically does is it just takes a string and then gets rid of all the all the spaces, right? And then stores all of the values of the whatever is left, right? After whatever, like they like let's say how do I explain split, right? Imagine you want to get rid of a particular thing from this whole string, right? If you want to get rid of I, you don't want I in your string, right? What will you do? Like you just want your the other things in your string and you don't want the I. You just write a dot split. It will get rid of the I and it would print whatever is remaining, right? In form of an array. An array is basically a name value pair, right? It is whatever all those who have been experienced in other coding languages might know. It is basically a lot of things stored in form, like stored with separated by commas, right? So let's say you want to store, this is an array basically, right? Let's say you want to store some names of the colors, right? You want to store blue, you want to store red, you want to store green. This is how you would do it, right? Now, the variable here, A consists of blue, red, and green characters, right? Sorry, blue, red, and green colors in it. Now you can refer to each thing in between it, right? You want to refer to green, red, you can just do a like acha. Also, as I have mentioned earlier, 0 is the first thing. So this thing is 0, right? This is the 0th thing. Now, this is the first thing, right? This is the first thing and this is the second item, right? These items are arranged in a way that the first item in an array is always the 0th item. The second item is the first item and the third item is also is the second item, right? And if you want to call any like any item from an array, you will just give array and then in the square brackets you will mention the number, right? If you want to do, let's say, the first item, which we know is red, right? Which we know is red, we will just call A1, right? We'll just call A1 and it will print the first item, which is red, right? Does anyone have any doubts?
Like, could you please explain it once again? Like,
Uh-huh.
you were telling us about split. Okay, so it's like split. You were telling that it's.
I'll get back to split. Did you all understand arrays? I'll be going over arrays again in the next class. So if you don't understand, it's fine. But array means anything in this, right? Yes, anything in square brackets. And if there are multiple things like multiple items, then the things in the square brackets are separated by commas, right?
Like they have to be separated by commas.
Yeah, if you do this, you'll get an error. See, you'll be getting an error because there is no comma, right?
Mm. So it can
Now,
be integer also, right? And
it can be integer also, it can be anything. Let's say one, or any item basically you can store here. Any,
so array stores like multiple items.
yeah, let's see, A1. So we are referring to the first thing in the array, which as we know is 2, because the 0th thing is 1, right? So if I do A0, then I'll get 1, right? This is how you call an array, but that I think is a topic that will be explained in the next class. Basically, what split does, do we need to use quotation marks to store strings in an array? Yes, you need to. If you do not give quotation marks, it will give an error. If you write strings, if you write numbers, then it will take them as numbers, not as strings, right? Now, if we go to split, what split basically does is it will just cut whatever is the string into multiple things of the array without the I, right? So in case of this, let's take in case of A, right? You don't want the I. So what A dot split will do is basically it will cut the string without taking
And
the
like,
I.
sorry to interrupt. Like in when you are writing split and you are giving bracket, we have to give like both the inverted commas there.
In case of string, because you are finding out a character in the string, right? So you have to give the inverted
Like
commas.
there's no character, like there's no I.
Yeah, right. So what will it do? It will basically take this string, it will remove the I and make two substrings or two smaller strings, right? See, so it's basically removing the I and storing the two other strings. Does
Like
anyone
what
have
if
any doubts?
any like like I'm asking that inside the bracket do we have to put the inverted commas?
Yeah, like see, if you are trying to remove I and if you don't put the inverted commas, it will
No,
give an
like
error.
if we're not trying to remove anything, like just like, there's no I or something, just like we're just
Then
leaving
so
it
it
like
will remain. Then so it will give out the string normally. It won't cut anything.
okay.
Like
Is it case sensitive?
it is case sensitive. For example, if I write TTIS, right, and then if I write T, capital T, right, it will take out the capital T, but it will keep the small TIS, right? But if I write the small t and run it, it will remove the small t but keep the capital T. Everything in a string, right? If you are trying to find out some character in a string, it is always case sensitive. JavaScript is a case sensitive language. If you are trying to find out, let's say capital T, but if you give a dot split small t, then it would omit the small t's and not the capital T's, therefore making an undesirable output. Is it clear?
Yes.
If you will have any questions, we'll be going over it again in the next class. So do not worry. And there will be a quiz that we'll be sharing